planning a trip to Switzerland?
Here are 17 things to know before you go.
We're Janet and Brett, Applins in the Alps, and we just love Switzerland. In fact, we have been there more than 10 times and already have plans to return again this year.
We know you're gonna love it as much as we do, which is why we've made this helpful info about food, currency, transportation, and more.
All right, let's start with something silly because when we travel to Switzerland, sometimes people think we're going to Sweden. But just to clarify, Switzerland is not Sweden. Okay, moving on to number 2.
Number 2 is Switzerland is not in the EU, but it is in the Schengen area. Now, if you have no idea what that means, don't worry. The thing you need to know about this Schengen area thingy is it covers most of continental Europe, and traveling between countries in the area is like traveling between states in the US. No passport is needed to travel between countries in this area, but you do need a passport to get into and out of Europe, so make sure you bring at least 1 or 2.
The next thing you need to know before you go is to use the right currency. So most people will take their European vacation and spend their euros in most of Europe, but then they come to Switzerland. So Switzerland uses the Swiss franc. Now, yes, you can usually pay with euros, but they'll be laughing all the way to the bank because you will be charged more in euros than if you just pay in Swiss franc. Bonus tip, instead of using Swiss franc, bring along a travel credit card with 0 foreign transaction fees.
Number 4 is there are 4 official languages in Switzerland: German, French, Italian, and Romansh. Many of the Swiss speak multiple languages, and English is very common, so you shouldn't have any problem while you're in Switzerland. But it's always a good idea to learn a few basic words in the local language, such as hello, goodbye, and thank you, to make sure you connect well with the locals.
Number 5 is that Switzerland has 2 main international airports, Zurich in the east and Geneva in the west. If you're planning to visit multiple places in Switzerland, see which airport has the best flight deals, or you can even fly into one airport and out of the other. It's also nice to know that both of these airports are on transportation lines, so it's super easy to get to basically anywhere in the country from either airport.
Not being in the EU means more than just the currency is different. So number 6 on our list is for you to know that the plug adapter is different in Switzerland as well. The EU plug looks like this and will not work in Switzerland. The Swiss plug looks like this, which we found out the hard way when we showed up to Switzerland a few years ago without our own plug adapter. We brought a travel adapter. It has a US adapter, a UK adapter, an Australian adapter, and an Italian adapter. But apparently you need a 6th adapter called a Type J. So either buy one before you come, plan to buy one when you arrive. You can find those at grocery stores and pharmacies, for example, or ask if one will be available at your lodging.
Number 7 is all about tap water, and that's because Switzerland has some of the best drinking water in the world. Literally, it scored a perfect 100% on this scientific study about the cleanliness of water. In fact, 80% of Switzerland's drinking water comes from springs, which means you might literally be drinking from a waterfall. I couldn't come here without trying some water from the waterfall. So when you visit Switzerland, there's no need to buy bottled water from the grocery store, just bring a reusable water bottle.
Number 8 is all about food. Fondue is likely already at the top of your list, but if you want to try something else really traditional, make sure you find raclette. Both involve melted cheese, promising to harden into a giant brick in your stomach, but raclette is actually much older than fondue and is a fun experience in its own way. Both are normally eaten only during the winter, so if you go to Switzerland and order one in the summer, you're gonna be looking like a tourist, but that's okay. You are a tourist and you wanna have the best experience you possibly can.
Here's a secret. Swiss chocolate is really, really good. That's why it deserves a category all of its own. You can always tour a Swiss chocolate factory, or you can buy those really fancy and slightly overpriced chocolate gift sets, but we just go to the grocery store because when you go to the grocery store, you can find all these different brands of Swiss chocolate at a super affordable price. If these tips have been helpful so far, hit that like button so we know you're following along.
Number 10 on the list is efficiency. The Swiss are master engineers, so you're gonna come across tons of roads, bridges, and mountain lifts that you think to yourself, how did they possibly build these things here? Many of these are titled longest, steepest, highest, so there's fun for you around every corner. In addition, everything runs efficiently, which means you'll never get lost and you'll rarely be late. And on top of that, the Swiss also have one of the cleanest countries in the entire world.
Number 11 is that Switzerland is super family friendly. You'll often see families hiking together in the mountains or walking through villages, and you'll even see like 5-year-olds walking alone to school. Beyond that, Switzerland can be a surprisingly budget-friendly destination, and here's why. Kids under 6 are always free on public transportation. And most of the time, kids 6 to 16 are also free on public transportation when they're with their parents. We've also seen a lot of restaurants and mountain huts that have free or really reduced discounts for kids as well, including the Schildhorn James Bond breakfast. So if you're a family trying to take a budget-friendly European vacation, don't knock Switzerland off your list.
Number 12 is don't assume that the Swiss Travel Pass is your best option for transportation in Switzerland. It's highly marketed, but it might be your best option if you're planning to visit a whole lot of regions in Switzerland. But if you're focusing in a specific area or planning to take lots of mountain lifts in places like the Lauterbrunnen Valley, it's worth seeing what regional passes might be available. It's easy to assume that the Swiss Travel Pass will cover all of your travel, but you'd be met with the unpleasant surprise of finding out it only covers 25 to 50% of most mountain lifts. Those lists can easily cost more than 60 francs per person. So do your research on your train travel passes before you arrive.
Number 13 is to skip the rental car in Switzerland because public transportation goes everywhere and it's a really stress-free way to enjoy the scenery. Unless you really want to explore off the beaten path. We did this last year and it was so much fun. Or if you just have enough people to make the cost of a rental car worth it. Just keep in mind, in addition to the cost of the rental car, you have to worry about parking and gas. And then there's always the hassle of navigating. And to get to most of the mountains in Switzerland, you can't drive up to the top, so you're gonna have to take a mountain lift anyway.
Number 14 is to download and use the SBB Mobile App. You can store train passes and buy tickets directly from this app, which means you won't have to visit the rail office every time you want to do so. Even if you'll have a transportation pass and don't need to buy tickets, it's really helpful to be able to see the timetables and even to figure out what's the best way to get from point A to point B. Finally, if you're really on a budget, using the app opens you up to additional discounts that aren't available to other travelers.
The next thing you need to know before you go is that Switzerland is not always cold. In fact, it can get really hot during the summer. In 2015, Geneva reached 103 degrees Fahrenheit, and in 2003, Interlaken hit 98 degrees. That's hot. And in the mountains, the weather can change quickly. It can go from hot and sunny to cloudy and windy, rain and storms pop up, so you definitely need to be prepared when you head to the mountains. Basically, bring layers in your day pack so you can be prepared for any kind of weather.
Hey Siri, what's the number for 911 in Switzerland? Surprisingly, it's not 911, so number 16 is to know the emergency phone number. Just like in the US, there are different numbers for police, fire department, and ambulance services, but 112 is the most important number you could know for emergencies, not just in Switzerland, but throughout Europe. If you call this number from any phone, even one with a foreign SIM card or from a prepaid phone with no credit at all, you'll be connected to an operator who will then transfer you to the appropriate emergency service.
The last thing to know before you go is that Switzerland is considered to be one of the most expensive countries in the world, but you can do it on a budget.
To show you how, we made this video about budgeting for your trip to Switzerland.
And if you want even more inspiration for your Swiss vacation, watch this playlist right here.